Want a chance to win a whole load of otaku goodies with Mecha, Gaikotsu, and Gemmer? Then head on over to my Gemmer giveaway video right now for your chance to win. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another figure review, and today I'm taking a look at the variant Play Arts Hatsune Miku. If you haven't seen my unboxing yet, make sure to check that out. But anyway, onto the figure. So I have to get this out of my system straight away before I start. These bases are absolute pieces of fucking shit. Whoever designed these is an idiot and needs to be fired right now. And beaten. Also beaten, because these things are an absolute nightmare. If anyone has any suggestions on an alternate base I can use for with a Play Arts, please tell me, because these things are useless. But anyway, I digress. Back to the figure. So there she is out of the box, and from a distance this thing looks pretty good. And to be blatantly honest, that is about it. In most iterations of Hatsune Miku, they're usually bright and cheery, but the colors here are subdued and muddy. You could say that maybe that's what they're going for, but the box seems to disagree with this idea. The pictures here on the back of the box are all bright, vivid, and sparkly with a lot of life. Not necessarily what you get with the figure here. Sadly, this figure here seems to be less than the sum of its parts. For example, the hair here, it's all made from a clear plastic and has a fade from transparent down here to fully opaque green up here. And by the way, this time this is definitely green. It might show up a little blue on camera because of the white balance, but this is green. And sadly, the green used here is more of a dirty Viridian sort of color as opposed to that blinding cyan that was in that Miku Expo video that this is based on, which is a real disappointment. But anyway, like I was saying, this is definitely a lot less than the sum of the parts. We've got clear, a fade to green, as well as metallic highlighting, and it should look so much better than it does. It's got a real case of that helmet hair that Play Arts Kais usually end up with. As well as that, the quality in general does not match up with the price point of this figure. This is a fairly pricey figure and it does not feel like it. The quality in general isn't the greatest, the paint applications aren't awesome, actually they're pretty poor, but the worst thing has to be those big gaping gaps in the shoulders. Just look at that absolute mess. This isn't visually appealing in the least. I mean seriously, put the box and the figure side by side. That is completely different. I'll also add that the back of mine here was tucked in here like this in the packaging. So now it has this constant dent right here which looks pretty bad. Marks here like this which I can't tell if it's flash or excess paint. Sloppy paintwork on the minute detail. Usually I wouldn't draw attention to something small like this. But when it's all over the place, like here, 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 and here, then I do think it's worth pointing out. Also, I will mention that out of the box, this figure did have this big nasty scrape on its arm. And for a brand new figure, that is unacceptable quality control right there. But one thing I really don't think can be forgiven is this right here. Seriously, why would you ever need to put copyright information and branding on the leg? That looks absolutely horrible and does cheapen the entire figure. But that's not to say that everything about this figure is terrible. One redeeming factor is they have done quite well with the face. It has been very nicely sculpted and painted, especially the lips. Well, besides that little bit of crap underneath her eye there. But anyway, the eyes look nice as well, and if you zoom in really close, you can see that there is a bit of a dotted pattern in there, which looks pretty good. Of course, it does completely fail to capture that awesome character model from the original video, but ignoring that and taking it as it is, the face does look pretty good. As for accessories, we've got those two widespread open hands you've seen already, as well as two closed fist hands, as well as a hand for holding the leek and the leek itself. So now moving on to articulation, and as always from the head down, so starting with the head. So as for the head, there it is all the way to the front, all the way to the back. And I did notice that this doesn't like to stay where you put it. So the joint there could be a lot better. That can rotate all the way around. And for something with such big hair to support, it is a bit of a bobblehead. And as it's just a simple ball joint in the neck, there's no side-to-side tilt there. The hair can be moved around as well. We've got some joints up here. So that means they can be moved up and down, as well as rotated like that, so they can go in pretty much any direction you'd like. As for the articulation at the shoulders, there's the arm all the way up. That can rotate all the way around as well. There is the full bend at the elbow, and as for the wrists, there's a joint in there so they can move around a bit as well as rotate, but they are quite blocked by the sleeve. Next, the articulation here at the torso. There she is all the way to the back as well as all the way to the front. So one more time, back and front. This part does pop out a bit there and can catch, so be careful when returning that back to the way that it was. As for a side-to-side crunch, we've got nothing there. That's only back and forward, but it can rotate side to side at that point as well. There is another joint in here at the hip so they can move around like that. And as for the legs, there is the leg all the way up to the front. The skirt can move out of the way a bit there. There it is all the way to the back. Pretty good again. There they are all the way out to the side, so she can almost do the splits. And we have some rotation here at this point. There is the bend at the knee, and lastly at the ankle, there's all the way down, all the way up, and we have that side to side pivot. So that is it for the review, and just like I said in the unboxing, the best way to sum this up is just by saying it's a Play Arts Kai. I really feel there is no love put into these figures, they're just churned out to make a profit, and it really feels like it. For one, it doesn't really look like the subject matter it's based on. Secondly, it doesn't even really look like what's on the box. And thirdly, there are just so many small minor aspects that if they were cleaned up, this thing would be a very nice figure. By far, definitely not the worst figure that's on offer, but definitely also not the best. If you're looking for a Hatsune Miku figure, there are so many better options out there, so many better options. So I would recommend looking elsewhere. However, if you are a Play Arts Kai collector and you just want another one to add to your collection, then by all means go for it. It's got all the same pros and cons you get with most Play Arts. As always, thank you very much for watching, and make sure to come back for more figure reviews. See you next time.